George, co-founder of SoloSuit.com. I'm going to tell you guys out there in Michigan how to respond to debt collection lawsuit. All right, being sued for debt totally sucks. Probably one of the worst experiences in your life. Hopefully this video will make it a little bit easier. First thing to know, you only have 21 days to respond to a debt collection lawsuit. Otherwise, you automatically lose your case. All right, that means if you receive the paperwork in person, which most people do, you only have 21 days, otherwise you lose. If the paperwork was mailed to you, there's an exception. If it was mailed to you, it's only you have 28 days to respond instead of 21. Or if you get the documents outside of Michigan, then also you have 28 days. So this includes weekend and non-business holidays. Okay, so again, the clock is ticking. Most of you probably only have 21 days to respond. If the last day ends up being a day that the court is closed, then the deadline is the next day that the court is open. All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over the 3 steps to responding to a lawsuit. First step is to start your answer. Second step is to make your affirmative defenses. Don't want to forget that. Very important, affirmative defenses. Third step is to file your answer with the court. SoloSuit does all of that for you. Okay, so you can actually just go over to SoloSuit.com. You can use our service to generate your answer, respond to the lawsuit. We'll even have an attorney review the document for you, and then we'll file it for you so you don't even have to leave your house. All right, so going into more detail on step number 1. So first thing, you know you're being sued if you receive a document that looks like this. This is the complaint and the summons document. The summons tells you that you're being sued. The complaint tells you why you're being sued. So what you have to do is you have to then create what's called an answer document, which is a formal legal document. Right? It's not just like you can't just like write a little love letter to the court, send it off on line paper to them, and they'll accept it. No, it's not the case. It has to be properly formatted. Has to have like all the things on. It has to have the case number, the caption, the court information, the party information, your information. It has to have the proper paragraph information responding to the complaint and summons. All right. So the main bulk of the answer, like the real substance of it, is that you respond to every paragraph. You can respond one of 3 ways. You can admit it, which means you agree with everything in the paragraph. You can deny it if you disagree with anything in the paragraph. Or you can deny it for lack of knowledge, which is basically the equivalent of saying, I don't know. That's totally a fine answer. There's really nothing wrong with saying, I don't know, right? Because oftentimes these legal documents are so complicated you can't even understand them. So it's totally fine to say, I don't know, I deny for lack of knowledge. No problem with that. All right, so step number 2, assert your affirmative defenses. All right, affirmative defenses are really important. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's basically your opportunity to make your defense against the opposing party. All right, so it's when you can say things like, "I was served improperly," statute of limitations expired, I don't owe the money, or you could say like, this isn't even my debt. I'm not a co-signer on the account. You guys are suing the wrong person. You could say the contract is canceled, or you have proof that the debt was paid. Etc. So one of the really important affirmative defenses that you can make is the statute of limitations. Statute of limitations is laid out in section 600 5813. All right, and it gives the length of time for all the statute of limitations. So we're just going to go over them rapid fire here. So oral debt, if you agreed to something verbally, statute of limitations is 6 years. Written debt, 6 years. Credit card debt, that's like a really common one. Big reason why a lot of people come to us. Statute of limitations, again, is 6 years. State tax debt, 6 years. If you didn't pay your state taxes, they can only sue you for it for about 6 years. General debt collection is kind of like a default, 6 years. Auto loan debt, 4 years. Mortgages, 10 years. Court judgments, 10 years. You might say, hey, what's a court judgment? I don't know what that is. That's what happens if you get sued for your debt. You lose. Now they can come after you for another 10 years length of time, right? So that's why you really don't want to lose your case. You can go ahead and use SoloSuit to respond to that lawsuit, win your case. All right, step number 3, file your answer with the court and mail a copy to the other party. So you got to print 2 copies of your answer document. You got to send one copy to the court, 1 copy to the opposing attorney. All right, you might think, I'm all done, I have my answer document generated, filing is going to be easy. That's not the case. All right, we actually find that only 20% of people who use our free service on SoloSuit to generate the answer document, only 20% of them actually ever file the document. That's because filing is a nightmare. All right, you have to find out the mailing address for the court, which you probably don't know. It's not on Google. Google's going to tell you the physical address, which is probably different from the mailing address. You also have to know a filing fee. Luckily for you in Michigan, they don't charge filing fees. Generally, most courts don't charge a filing fee to answer. But then you have to print out the documents. You probably don't have a printer. Who has a printer these days? If you do have a printer, you might be thinking, well, I have a printer. That's awesome. But is it an inkjet printer? If it is, ink's probably dry. Right? So you got to print out the documents. That's a pain. Then you have to use snail mail. You actually have to go down to the post office. You have to stick the documents in an envelope. You got to send it out to the court, send it out to the party. Really, it's a big pain, big hassle. You can really just let SoloSuit do it for you. I'm just going to stick a little nugget, a little detail of Michigan courts in here for you. You might be wondering, hey, why am I being sued in a district court instead of a circuit court? All right, so just the basic details on this. So district courts handle cases up to $25,000. Circuit courts are for claims that are above $25,000. So if you're being sued for more than $25,000, which I hope isn't the case, you're going to be in circuit court probably. If you're being sued for something less than $25,000, you're probably going to be in district court. Small claims courts take cases for less than $6,000. So if you're being sued for less than $6,000, there's some chance of being a small claims court. That said, usually debt collection attorneys just aren't that nice, and they know that it's easier for you to win a small claims court, so they're going to sue you in district court because it's harder. It makes your life more miserable. All right, so just one other reason to stick it to the debt collectors, go over to SoloSuit.com, generate your answer document, and stick it to them.